Why did the finale suck, you ask? Because we never got to see Cliff Main's son. Worst finale ever, 0 out of 10. On a more serious note, the final episode of Better Call Saul aired this week, and I have to say, I've got pretty mixed feelings about it. Don't get me wrong about the title, the finale was great. It's just that I feel the ending was pretty mid-tier, kinda rushed and super basic, as if the creators didn't really want to take any major risks to subvert any Unlike Game of Thrones, whose finale made the previous seasons unwatchable, this ending didn't really ruin anything, so hey, maybe a basic way was the right way to go. I'm glad the show even ended, since Bob Odenkirk nearly died during the filming, so I can kind of just be grateful it even happened, but I still do think that it took an easier, less riskier approach. People seem to like it, and I'm probably the only one who thinks it kinda sucked, and I'll probably get pitchforked for even suggesting something was bad, but oh well, what you gonna do? More on that later, here's the full review cap. The first half of the episode I absolutely loved. While looking for subtitles, as soon as I skipped to a scene with Mike in the desert, I knew this episode was gonna be great, and for the most part, it was. They talk about what they do if they had a time machine, and their discussion shows a key difference between their mindsets. Mike would choose to avoid going down a corrupt path and taking his first bribe, while Jimmy is focused on greed and buying stocks to make himself richer in the future. Speaking of which, there's this weird ongoing theme with the time machine throughout the episode, which I assume the creators are just telling us to go back in time and rewatch both shows. I don't think it was about regret like a lot of people say, because Jimmy pretty much had no regrets at the time, at least, or maybe I just don't see it that way. There were two mentions of the time machine. Later in the episode, he asks Walter the same question, to which he says time machines are dumbed down and talks about gray matter as we'd all think he would. Saul makes a great point about why he didn't just tell him so they could make money bags from screwing over gray matter Saul style. Yep. And in hindsight, it is extremely sad because it might have worked and all the mess could have been avoided. But then again, Walter's ego probably would stay in the way of that. So there's that. As for the time machine, again, Saul would pretty much stay down the same path, and in hindsight, it makes sense. He's seen too much, the world taught him to be selfish, and even with a time machine as a kid, he couldn't really affect his dad going broke because it was simply inevitable, and he wouldn't change himself because why would he? Maybe he wouldn't drop a Chicago sunroof, but even that led him to become a lawyer, so it isn't that much of a regret. There was also a flashback with Chuck, where still sweet Jimmy takes care of his older brother. Like always, he tries to make Jimmy quit with passive-aggressive comments and jabs, and near the end of the scene, we see Time Machine book by H.G. Wells. Like I said, it could be a hint to rewatch the episodes, or that book is Chuck's favorite and it crosses Jimmy's mind sometimes because he still thinks of his older brother. But enough about flashbacks. Cut to present, where Jimmy is trying to flee after Marion called the cops. There's this tense feel through the first half of the episode that keeps you at the edge of your seat, which I really like. Jimmy doesn't get far, and while desperately attempting to get another vacuum cleaner, which is probably impossible anyway, he is caught while hiding in a dumpster. Very slipping Jimmy of him. They bring him to a police station while cops watch "Hey, I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know that you have rights? Constitution says you do" memes on YouTube, and are probably checking out videos on my channel too. Subscribe! Really though, it was funny seeing this, and I wouldn't be surprised the creators saw the memes and decided to add a bit of their own. It really feels that way. Jimmy makes a phone call to alert his Cinnabon colleagues that the world's most overqualified bakery manager won't be able to come today, and he has a breakdown in a holding cell where he whines about getting caught to begin with. After his temper tantrum, he sees carvings on the wall that would probably get my future videos demonetized if I said them, and calls for Bill Oakley to be his lawyer, convincing him to fly all the way to him because it's gonna be a career changer representing Saul Goodman himself. There they meet Marie, who is still angry over Saul's involvement with Walter, and therefore Hank's death, and wants to see him go to basically a forever prison. She's represented by a top-class lawyer that never lost a case, which lists all of Saul's crimes, amounting up to bajillion years, and offers him a 30 years deal in the end. Classic sweating negotiation tactics, if you ask me. However, he's up against Saul Goodman, a highly skilled and experienced lawyer that knows every law loophole there is, and is ready to deceive and win. The fact he even lost the case is actually a flaw, because he stands more to lose, and therefore is more accepting of stupider deals. To realize in manipulation, Saul tells Marie how Walter forced him to work for him and that he ran away scared of him and Pinkman due to everything that had happened with everyone else involved that died. He paints himself as a victim that had to serve the bidding of Heisenberg, and with that he lowers his sentence down to 7 years. On top of that, later on he extends the deal so he could get the safest wing of the prison, and even argues his way down to getting a pint of Blue Bell mint chocolate chip ice cream every Friday. Even though he is brought there as a fugitive, Saul always appears absolutely dominant and on top of everyone. Your Honor, my client is built different, is what Bill Oakley should have said. To be honest, I kept thinking that Saul should have totally told Marie that he was the one who had alerted the DEA of a possible Gus assassination attempt, therefore helping save Hank, but they probably kind of forgot. Pretty sweet deal overall, right? Well, Icarus Goodman just flew too close to the sun. Being greedy as always and wanting to cut it even shorter, he suggested he could sweeten the pot by telling them about Howard's murder. The lawyers finally get the upper hand for once, telling Saul that Kim already spilled the beans, and unless he takes this amazing deal, they'll go to trial. Jimmy is stunned for a moment, before he tells them that he has some juicy info on Kim. What the dog doing? Since Jimmy was caught in Nebraska, he is extradited to Albuquerque, New Mexico via a plane where his original crimes were committed and the trial takes place. And no, there was no mention of Jeff in the finale, which is pretty dumb and makes him a filler character. Like I said in one of my previous videos, it should have been something related to Jeff that makes Saul fall, like the time they robbed the mall, but Kim is invited to attend because she's been told that Jimmy has some dirt on her. Then Jimmy goes, "Oops, sorry, it's a prank," which I saw coming from a mile away. This is around where it goes weird and downhill for me. Bill Oakley tells Jimmy he got pretty much one of the best judges he can hope for, one that generally agrees on deals that lawyers make. And right before she's able to conclude this joke of a trial, Jimmy confesses everything. No rhyme or reason to it except that he is gonna make good old Kim happy and show her that he changed, as well as the rest of the world. He essentially throws his life away for a measly, "Hey look people, Saul sucks, I'm Jimmy again, I'm being honest so you can throw me away in prison for life," which would absolutely never happen in reality. I think the only lesson we can get from this is not to simp for a girl to the point you get thrown in Albuquerque's Alcatraz for life. 7 years is a really long time, and he would have to live being the guy who helped Walter afterwards. Isn't that a great punishment? I think it was absolutely stupid and completely off character that even someone like Jimmy does this, because it doesn't make sense for him to want to show the world that would never accept him on how he changed. Nobody notices or cares. It was a wasted shame, and he should have taken that deal, Kim or no Kim. Jimmy was a victim, and becoming honest to screw himself over, while many criminals who did worse get lighter sentences, only cements that it does not pay to be nice and sweet, and Jimmy should have known this. Is it worth getting life to impress a lady and make some people happy? I don't think so. At least the end where the prisoners recognize Saul, give him respect and accept him as one of them was kinda cute, and felt like a bittersweet, good end, but overall, the last half felt really abrupt and unfair to me. Kim visits him one last time, tells him she got back into lawyering before going back to Florida to screw the Yep Man, and Jimmy gets to eat TikTok prison-style food for the rest of his miserable life while being a prison kingpin until he looks at someone wrong and dies to a shank. He could have gotten away with 7 years and it would still be justice served, but it is as if the writing suddenly spiraled downhill once they realized they had to end the show without the possibility of a sequel somehow, and throwing the book on Saul was the way to do it. Better Call Saul was a great show, but due to the finale, I'm one of the people that now think Breaking Bad did it better just by a hair. This was my first review cap ever. Thanks for watching and subscribe for future videos.